And we have an announcement from the KYOT decision desk. We can now call the state of Nevada for Sophia Miranda. We have Sophia in the studio. Sophia, how did you pull off this win?
I was actually the only candidate planning on running the Legalize Monkey platform.
That's amazing. That wraps up all of politics for 2020. Wake up, Monarch! I'm Sophia Miranda.
And I'm Lincoln Roach.
And it's time
for KYOT.
Community theater is still putting on productions, even during the times of, coronavirus.
Let's go check in with Lily Weisbart to see how the Center Stage Theater Company will be putting on their newest productions.
The theatrical arts are fighting to keep kids creative, and director Melissa Williams is charging it to battle with a production of Qui Gwen's play She Kills Monsters.
She Kills Monsters is about two sisters who learn about each other through a D&D game.
Louisville's own Center Stage Theater Company has been working on filming this popular play about monsters and magic since mid-August, trying to keep kids safe and creative in the process.
We chose during the fantasy scenes to film outside in a fantastical world.
For a theater company that traditionally does stage productions, this new way of doing things has presented some challenges.
Obviously, with COVID, we need to be far away from each other, which is usually the opposite of fight scenes. Usually the closer you are, the more realistic it will look.
But not without solutions.
It's very similar to how in older kung fu movies they would do pulling your punch, so it's like a long lens and then the person's actually standing 6 feet away and they go yeah over the person's shoulder and then you see them react but no one's fist ever touched anyone's face. It's like that but for everything.
This new way of performing is pushing people to think outside the box now more than ever.
So far, knock on wood, we've been able to keep everybody safe but creative and challenged, and most of these actors are stage actors, so working in front of a camera and film has been extremely new, but also really exhilarating and exciting too.
For KYOT, I'm Lily Weisbart.
She Kills Monsters' premiere date will be released shortly.
Last Wednesday, as teachers entered Monarch, they found some controversial writing on the Student Center windows.
A teacher came to the Student Center and saw something written on these windows right here behind me and contacted Assistant Principal Mark Sibley.
It had, and I'm not an expert in graffiti, so there were some codes and I think graffiti slang put up there. The majority of it was anti-law enforcement. There was a portion where you saw BLM, Black Lives Matter, and the F word was near it. So at first, it was a little upsetting. It looked like maybe there were some racial undertones.
By the time students arrived, staff had already been able to clean up the writing because of the material that was used.
Well, most people think graffiti, they think spray paint. Fortunately for us, it was not spray paint. We do believe it was a lipstick type material.
Based on the location chosen, it is clear that whoever did this wanted their message to be seen.
The thing about defacing public property, especially schools, you're going to get the attention that you really want. And they also know if as a student that the Student Center is a heavily used door by the students. So why not do it here to get the biggest impact for viewership?
You catch the game on Sunday?
No.
Do you know what the game was?
No.
Ever heard of football?
No.
Here's Sean with how real fans are watching the sport.
COVID-19 has thrown a wrench into the football community. But fans like LA teacher Ms. Prasa are finding different ways to watch and support their team.
So I have season tickets. So before COVID, I used to pick a couple games because I honestly can't afford the season tickets by myself. So I pick a couple games and I would sell the rest to friends just at face value. So if I wasn't at the game, then I would watch at home on TV or at a sports bar because I would bring my work and grade papers at a sports bar while I was watching the Broncos game.
Just on TV. I would watch it on TV before, and I can still watch on TV. But I just wish I could go to games, because I normally go to one game a year, and I can't do that anymore.
The Broncos have had a rocky start this season.
I just think the injuries have decimated our team, and there's no way we can tell where we truly would have been.
Going into the season, I had really high expectations. I felt like they could have made the playoffs, but after injuries, injuries really hurt them this year, so my expectations are pretty low.
Mine were low from the start.
Some fans at our school have some favorite players.
I'd say Drew Lock. Dude's been balling recently, even though he got hurt. He had a good game today, and I think he's a good quarterback for the franchise.
Yeah, I'd say Philip Lindsay just because he's a homegrown boy, you know?
Some teachers and students also like other teams.
Miss Benish and I went, but we went to the Bears Broncos game because we're Bears fans first.
The Patriots.
This is KYOT, and I'm Sean Goldie.
We've been waiting for over a month.
What might be the greatest competition to ever come to Monarch? Here are the results of the Monarch Candy Championship.
Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
For sure. Here you go. Hey,
Hey,
to the Monarch Candy Championships.
to the Monarch Candy Championships.
That's all for this week, Monarch.
We'll see you next week.
In the meantime, make sure to stay positive.
And test negative.